channel. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend that you subscribe. But if you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for sharing my video. Thank you for liking and even putting a comment on my video. And today we'll be talking about a very important topic, and that's how to become a registered nurse in the United States. I've been getting a lot of questions from people who are already here, people who are processing their visas, people who are students here and they want to switch, like how can I become a registered nurse in the United States? Where do I start? And I'll be doing videos, uploading videos explaining on the process because I went through it. So like I have a little bit of experience because I went through it. Some things are changed now, but they're pretty much like, for the most part, most of the stuff is still the same. So that's what we'll be talking about in my videos. So to become a registered nurse, you need to go to a college. And there's so many colleges that offer nursing, but then I'm just gonna address just like a group. So for one, you can go to a community college. For community colleges, for the most part, you just go to school for like 2 years, and after that you can sit for your NCLEX and then get your license and become a registered nurse. So if you decide to go with the community college route, then you'll have to go to school for like 2 years and then take your NCLEX, get your license, and then you'll be up and running, ready to work. And then another option, you can go to a 4-year college. In this case, you graduate with a bachelor's degree. So for the community college, you graduate with an associate degree in nursing. You sit for the NCLEX, you work. For the 4-year college, you graduate with a bachelor's degree in nursing. You sit for the NCLEX, and then you're ready to work. So somebody who graduated from a community college and somebody who graduated from a 4-year college, your roles and responsibilities for the most part are the same in the hospital. So for the most part, either the pay will be different or some roles, like some hospital won't allow you to do like a charge nurse if you don't have a 4-year degree. But for the most part, like they're allowed to do everything that a 4-year degree can do. And the pay difference in most places is not as big. So actually getting a 2-year degree and then going on to get a 4-year degree is what I recommend, because the pay is not going to be that much of a difference. And then you also graduate quicker and you start working, because that's what, like if you're coming from Africa, you're coming from a foreign country, you want to settle quicker, so you don't want to waste 4 years to actually or 3 years to get employed. You can actually do the 2 years, sit for your NCLEX, and you'll be ready to earn a paycheck. So number one, you can go to a community college, do 2 years of nursing, graduate, take your NCLEX and graduate. You'll have a license, an RN license, and you'll have graduated with an associate degree in nursing. Or you can go to a 4-year college, graduate with your bachelor's degree in nursing, take your NCLEX, and then also become a license and get a job. The end result is the same. So the first place you can do your nursing is either community college to a 4-year college. It can be private, it can be state-owned, public university, which are cheaper, but still it's gonna be a 4-year degree. Another place that you can get your RN schooling is hospitals. So we have nursing schools that are affiliated with a certain hospital. So you can get like a hospital that has a college of nursing, and they only do nursing courses. They can only graduate as a nurse. They don't offer any other courses other than nursing. And for the most part, for those colleges, again, it's 2-year degree, and then you graduate with an associate degree in nursing, and you can go ahead after that later on, do your 2 years of bachelor's or a year of bachelor's degree, and then end up with your bachelor's degree. So all these places, like if you're gonna take it at a community college, a 4-year college, or a college that's affiliated with a hospital, the end result is the same. What you need is a license. Pass the NCLEX and get your RN. Okay, now that we've talked about places where you can take courses to become an RN, those are just the three, the main like common ones. You can get like other, places that are offering nursing degrees online and whatever, but I wouldn't recommend to go to like an RN school online, because usually some colleges are not accredited. So that's something that you should be looking at before you even enroll in any college for anything that you need, or you need to get a license in the future. So you need to check the accreditation of that college, because sometimes you don't want to graduate and you end up in a situation where you can't sit for your NCLEX, or you end up with a situation where you already pass your NCLEX, but then some hospital won't hire you, or some 4-year colleges won't take you for a 4-year degree because the college wasn't accredited. So you have to ensure before you start even thinking about that school, that the school is accredited. That's step number one. Okay, so now we talked about like all these places that you can take the nursing degree, and then your question is, how do I even start? Where do I even begin? So usually, like, I have followers. I know I have a lot of followers from the US, but then I have tons of followers from different countries in Africa, India, and all those countries. So what I'm going to be talking about, like when I talk, I'm going to be focusing on people who are coming here. If you're already in the United States, it's still the same process, but then there's some things that other people from other countries require that somebody who was born in the United States probably they won't, like, you know, legal paperwork to work. So if you're coming from Kenya, you're coming from Ghana, you're coming from India, you're coming from everywhere, before you even think of going to a nursing school, there are certain requirements that you have to meet. Let's talk about the first and the most important is legal documentation. So to go to a nursing school, you have to have legal papers. So if you're here, you came to visit, and then your visa expired, so you will not be able to go to nursing school. You have to have legal paperwork in the United States to go to nursing school. So legal paperwork can be like, either if you win a green card, you come over here, you have a green card, you have your social security number, you can go ahead and go to nursing school. Either you came here on F1, like a student F1, J1, whatever, student visa is still valid, came as a student, and you want to transfer to a different program, you can do that. But then you have to have legal paperwork. So once you determine that you have legal paperwork, then you should continue looking at other steps, because there's no point of looking at all the other requirements and you don't have legal paperwork. So let's start with just checking yourself, making sure that you're legally in the United States to actually go to school. So that's the first requirement. Check your documentation to allow you, or your documentation should allow you to go to school. Okay, once you determine that you have legal paperwork to work in the United States, you go to the step number 2. You have to have graduated from a high school or high school equivalent from where you're from. Either if you're from Kenya, you did your KCSE and you have documentation that you actually sat for the exam and you have the certificate. So you have to prove that you have high school education. If you don't have high school education, like you come here and you didn't graduate high school, there's options where you can go to school here and then graduate with a high school equivalent certificate or whatever, and then that will allow you to go to college. So you have to make sure that you have a high school degree. Number 1, you have legal paperwork. Number 2, you have high school degree, or you have graduated from a high school equivalent from wherever you're from. Once you determine that you have the high school degree, now you go to step number 3. Step number 3, you have to be able to speak and write English, because all the schools here, the instruction is in English. So if you don't speak English, you're going to run into a problem, because maybe you graduated in French speaking country, like you're from France or whatever, you're from Congo, where some people, you know, graduate, but then they spoke French over there. So over here, English is a requirement. There's no school that offer nursing school courses in French or in any other language but English. So you might want to, you know, learn how to speak English if you don't already. People get here and they've been successful. At the end of this video, I'm gonna do like a little vlog at the end of a friend who I'm really so proud of, because I knew her. She came here, she didn't know how to speak English to begin with. She didn't know, like, you know, she had to go to high school here. So she started from literally nowhere, and then she learned the language, and then she went to school, graduated nursing school last year. So actually, she came, I met her in 2011 maybe, when I was in nursing school. And I graduated, you know, back then in 20 whatever, but then it took her a while. So she graduated last year. It took her, you know, more than 10 years. But guess what? The end result is the same. She still graduated as an RN. So the difference between somebody who graduates really fast and somebody who graduates like after 10 years, all of you have the same nursing degree. So it doesn't matter how long it's gonna take you. So if you have to learn English, don't feel discouraged, because it's doable. Maybe you don't know how to speak English now, and you're like, you know what, there's no way I'm going to nursing school because I only speak French. I don't know where to start. It is actually possible. There's people who've come here, learned the language, went to nursing school or to medical school you know, and they didn't speak English before. So you have to learn how to speak English. So you need to be good in both spoken, not so much. You can, you know, speak with an accent, it doesn't matter. Everybody here has an accent from somewhere, right? So spoken, not too much, but then written language, you have to write correctly. So because you're going to school, they check your grammar, they check everything. So you need to learn how to speak English, and you need to learn how to write English correctly. Those are the requirements, basic requirements you need to go to nursing school. First, you have to have legal paperwork to actually go to school. Number two, you have to have graduated from a high school or high school equivalent in the country where you're from. And then number three, you have to be good in written language, like English language. Spoken language, you need to speak, but you don't have to speak with an American accent. It doesn't matter, as long as you're understanding what you're saying or other people are saying to you, you should be good. So you need to be good with actually the written language. So those are the basic, just the basic requirement before you even think about going to nursing school. Okay, let's move on. So after you get here and you have all those requirements, the basic requirements that I've already talked about, now is the serious business. You have to look for a school that offers nursing. So go to community colleges around your area. Most community colleges offer the nursing associate degree over there. So you have to look. So this is the important part. Once you look for the school, find out if they have a wait list. So nursing school is very competitive. A lot of people want to go to nursing school. So you go, you get like, maybe they have like only 100 open spots, but then 1,000 people applied or 700 people apply. So 700 people are really competing to get into their 100 spots. So you're going to have a wait list, and it's going to be a pretty long one. So check if they have a wait list. You don't want to be waiting for college that your chances of getting in are not going to be as good. So start by checking a community college or whatever college that's around you that offers nursing, but then also focus on the wait list to see what are your chances of actually getting in after you apply. So once this school, you determine that maybe this community college, this private school, this four-year college, this hospital-affiliated college of nursing school offers nursing school degrees, the next thing you have to check before you even go any further, you have to check if they are accredited. Accreditation is very important, because if you graduate with your four-year degree and the school did not have accreditation, guess what? All that down the tubes, because you're not going to use it anywhere. So to sit for the NCLEX, your college has to be, you have to have graduated from a college that is accredited. So you have to check if it's accredited or not. If there's anything else you will not check about a college, check if it's accredited. Very important, especially if you're going for medical courses. Okay, so once you determine, you find a school, say I'm gonna go to this community college, and then you determine, okay, this college is accredited, then it's next step. Before you even show up in the school to ask questions, because usually some people, like, from Africa, they don't know where to start. So they go to school and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna go there, meet with a counselor, and then they're gonna advise me on what to do. That is a good thing to do for some people, but me personally, I don't encourage that. Why? Because when you go there, and the moment you mention, like, hey, I'm from Kenya, I'm from Congo, I'm from Zimbabwe, I'm from any African country, any third world country, they have this perception that everybody who comes here from a foreign country, they're dumb. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. They can't speak English. Their accent is very thick. So they think your accent matches your brains, which is not true. So once you get there and you're going for counseling, they'll be like, hey, this girl speaks with an accent. So what are we going to do? We're going to put her into English classes. Do you actually need English classes if you graduated from Kenya, from a four-year high school? Absolutely not, because you've done English all your life, correct? So you have to do your own research first. Do your own research before you present there and, waiting upon somebody to decide for you what you need to do, because all our experiences are different. If you're gonna use a counselor, that's completely on you. That's, you can do that. But for me, before you even approach the counselor, make sure that you're actually doing your homework. You know what requirements are before you even show up there. Okay, now assuming that you're a very good student, you watch my videos and then you heard me talk about like you have to check the requirements first, and then now you have to go to the school website. So when you go to the school website, you go to the College of Nursing, or some there's a button there that you click on the courses or whatever that's offered, and then you can go to the nursing program or nursing degree, and then on there, like in all these schools, all the information is there. It's not a secret. All the information is there. So when you go there and you already know what's on there, somebody won't be like, you need this, you need that, you need that. For the most part, and if you're foreign, they'll need a placement test. And if you're foreign graduate, like you graduated from a school outside the United States, they need some placement tests, not for nursing even at the beginning. They need placement tests to actually, for the school, for the whole school, to qualify if you can actually go to college. They'll make you take placement tests first. And this is like, they're easy. It's like English or math. So you do like placement tests, and then the way the placement test is set up, so you start with the easy basic math. And then once you get those correctly, because it's a computer administered test, once you get the basic ones correctly, it keeps advancing. So once you advance and you're getting those correct, then you go like to algebra 1. And then if you're getting algebra 1 correctly, you go to algebra 2, you go to calculus. So it just like, the tests keep going to test your skills. So the better you are, then the better you'll rank at being like, placed in a higher level classes because you passed the placement test. Same with English. They start with the basic, how are you, whatever, just, putting sentences together, punctuation and all that. If you're doing well, it keeps advancing. But then if they give you like, a math test and it's a placement test, and the basic math, you fail, the test won't advance you. So when you start taking courses in that college, then they'll be like, you need to start on the basic math courses because you failed the basic math. But then if you went like, you did well and now you're calculus, they'll be like, no, you can be placed in an algebra 2 class, or you can be placed in a calculus class because, you don't need the basic. You already proved that you can do that, which is a good thing about America. So the better you do, the better for you. So you don't start from zero, you start from actually a place where you belong intellectually or academically or whatever you want to call it. So take the placement test, see if they have a placement test for the whole school. Then once you do the placement test, then check the nursing, because nursing has its own requirements. They have their own placement test. It depends on what state. Like, here, like for example, where I live, they have the TEAS test. TEAS test is a test that you have to actually pass to go to the School of Nursing. So this test is not required for somebody who's going to computer science or going to business or going to another course. It's just specific for somebody who's actually want to go to nursing school. Check for that test and see, do they need a TEAS test? So if they need like a TEAS test, they usually have like a minimum score that you can get. Maybe they'll be like, you need like a 70, you need an 80. As long as you have an 80 minimum, you pass, or 65 or 60 or whatever number they have there. So your goal is to score the highest. So prepare for the test. So if the requirement is like 70, score an 85, right? You are up there. So if there's a waiting list, you're already ranking high because your TEAS test is 85 and maybe many people scored a 70. So you stand a chance of like, getting accepted because your TEAS test is up there. So that's why it's important to actually, score high in these placement tests. Okay, now that you've decided, like you did the TEAS test and then you did good on that, you have to check what the nursing program, other than the TEAS test, what other prerequisites are required to actually do before you go into nursing school. A lot of people make a lot of mistakes. Why? Because somebody tells you that you need to get all these biology classes done, all these chemistry classes done before you even apply. That's not the case for most colleges. Check what's the minimum requirement. So if you go to the school like I went, they need like, you need to have like a biology, and then you need to have like a chemistry, you need to have an English, something like that. Usually for nursing, for like around here, usually it's like anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, microbiology, chemistry. Those are the kind of prerequisites that most schools require for nursing school. They could be different. So once you determine that they need either 2 biologies and maybe a chemistry and an English, then start working on those. Don't take other courses. Why are you taking geography classes? Why are you taking sociology classes? Those classes, maybe they'll be helpful in the nursing program, but you don't need them now. Why are you taking them, right? You're not accepted yet. Do the anatomy and physiology. Take anatomy and physiology that's required, or the microbiology or the chemistry. Do that now and give it your all so that you're getting an A in that class, because nursing school is very competitive. So when you score an A, the TEAS test you scored very high, you have like an 80 something, and then you have anatomy and physiology, you're getting A, chemistry you're getting an A, and microbiology you're getting like an A, you will stand out. Like even if the waiting list has 700 people, you already have a 4.0 and your already TEAS test is up there. So you're not going to be on the waiting list. Why? Because your score is very, very high. And when you take these courses also, don't take a course like you take microbiology today, this year, and then anatomy and physiology next year, chemistry. So it's like 3 years old. That's like, if you can take them as fast as you can, so it shows that all these courses are recent and you got a 4.0. So you did them like within like a year or a few months, and then you also have your TEAS, you rank high, so you increase your chances of actually getting into the nursing program. When I came here, I like to do my research a lot, and like I like to investigate stuff before I get into. So in the nursing, like when I got here and I got into nursing, a lot of people thought I wasn't gonna get into nursing. I didn't have any advice or anything like that, but I thought, what do they need? Then what can I do to actually get into the nursing courses? So I actually did like only 1 semester, summer semester, for just like prerequisites and the TEAS test, and I was in the nursing program. And there's some people who are waiting for like 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. They're waiting for a long time to get into the nursing program, just because the approach is different. So that's why it's important when I tell you, like, you need to do your research. This is the research I'm talking about. It's going to make a difference on how fast you can get into nursing school. Somebody who didn't do their research, they might not get in as fast, but you did your research. You know what's needed. You just focus on what's needed, and you're in the nursing program. And like I say, and I always say on this channel, my goal is not like to brag. My goal is like whatever I learned from my experience, whatever mistakes I avoided doing something, if I can help somebody out there avoid those mistakes so they can get something done quicker, that would be helpful. Like, my goal is not like, oh, she got into nursing school really fast. That's not even my goal. My goal is like, if you can use whatever I did or whatever mistakes I avoided to help yourself or to help somebody out there, that will be enough for me. So check that out. Check what prerequisites and then what placement test is needed for nursing. And then once you get all of those done, then apply into nursing. Don't apply before you even get them done. Because if you apply before, you won't qualify, because guess what? You don't have any requirements that's needed. Why are you applying? So get those requirements done and then apply into nursing school. So when you go to apply into nursing school, you just go in there and then you just fill in an application if they need an essay or they need whatever, like what has worked out for me, like, you're from Africa. If you just tell the truth, we've suffered back home, not everybody, but for the most people, we suffer before we get here. So that experience, just put it into words. If they need an essay, that should be able to get you in for the most schools. But if you want to get creative or whatever to just increase your chances, if they need an essay or whatever, then you can go ahead and do that. And then also, like with the essays and stuff like that, you have to understand, like, when you get into nursing school, if you have good grades and stuff like that, you might qualify for scholarships. So, this is out there, like, there's diversity scholarships, there's all these scholarships once you're in the school that you can qualify for. Take advantage of that. Go on the website and look what scholarships are available for students, especially if you're from outside. There's going to be a ton of them, and then you're not going to be a ton of you in that school. So if you apply, chances are very high that you're going to get a scholarship, because I used up a lot of scholarship. I can't even tell you. Because you know what, I'm diverse. I'm over there speaking with my thick accent, so that's a plus. Some people think like thick accent is like it shows like you're not learned or something like that, but sometimes it works for your own advantage. Like, you know, if you get stopped by the cops, you know, the police, they're like, wee, 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 wee. When they stop me and maybe I'm doing something, dude, guess what? They approach me, I'm like, hey, hello, hey, I'm NAFULA. First, they can't pronounce my name, and then my accent gets thicker, like super thick. So they're like, yeah, if she can speak with this thick accent, I don't think she can make any mistakes. So, you know, and, you know, just be nice and polite and all that. And on top of that, and then you, for the most part, you get away with a lot of stuff. But I'm not encouraging anybody to do that. But anyhow, that's something that also I learned from being here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go to a college website here, because like if I explain to you a lot of stuff, like, you know, just me talking, I know some people don't like when I talk too much, and I say, you know, like I'm a radio, I talk way too much. So I'm just gonna go on a college website, like, you know, just pick one random community college or whatever, 4-year college, and I'm just gonna go in the College of Nursing website, and then I'll just like walk you through what I'm talking about, like what, you know, I've talked about before. I'm just gonna walk you through that. I think like when I explain it, I'm gonna share my screen, so when you're looking at it, you know what I mean. And then after that, today we just like, you know, just basic on how to get into nursing school. And then after that, you know, I'm gonna be talking about more on the courses, how to survive and how to study and how to do all that. But then today is just about how to get in and what scholarships, you know, you can qualify for and stuff like that. And at the end of the video also, you can watch out a vlog. I went to a graduation for my friend who graduated from nursing school that's affiliated with the hospital. So that would be nice to see. So when you come here, at least you're like, you know what, when I work hard and I finish nursing school, this is how, you know, my graduation might look like. And, you know, just the basic, you know, scoopy of all those. So I think that's what we're gonna do today. And then we'll go from there. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to do a super long video, so I'm going to be doing just how to get to nursing school. And also I know like there's so many people who graduated from over there or already graduated as nurses in your respective countries, like you're already practicing as RNs in other countries. I'm going to be addressing all that. I don't want to do it in this video because it's just going to confuse a bunch of people. So what I'm going to do, I'll do a separate video where I'm going to talk about like if you are already a nurse in Africa, how you can come to the United States. So I'm still trying to work on that. So once I have all the information that you guys need, then I'll do a video of if you graduate as a foreign educated registered nurse, how you can successfully immigrate to the United States. So I'll be covering that. So if you need that information, guess what? You just need to subscribe and turn the notification bell on, so that when I upload a video, you're notified, and then you watch the video and you can start working on the requirements.